So great. So I was sharing about inner tennis earlier. Inner tennis. So the learning from some of the books that I've been reading and on this subject of inner tennis, the inner game of tennis, is that most of our experience and actually even what happens out there in the real world has to do with the inner story, the inner conversation. Um, what's going on outside is less important, and what's going on inside is much more important. And like one of the questions a lot of people always ask me, uh, my friends, my tennis players, buddies, everywhere, that why did you move back to India? I mean, I lived in the US for almost
I think he got hung.
and they're all wonderful and a beautiful environment, and what the US has to offer. So why did you move back? And I've given different answers at different times because I've had different thoughts about it. But one of the answers I often give is that the inner experience of life is so much more important than the outer experience, that the outer, your location, where you are, what is around you in the physical world hardly matters. What are you doing with whatever is happening outside? What are you feeling with whatever is outside? What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? What is your reaction? Are you able to bring that to this, no matter what that is? Are you able to do that? That's the important question. And so um, so it it matters less and less when you are in that state about what your physical circumstances are, and therefore India is just as good as America, and America is just as good as India. And no matter where I find myself, whether I find myself in America or in India, uh, I am still very much in touch with the inner journey, the inner joyousness, the inner beauty, the inner truth, um, and peeling off layers of whatever comes in the way of being and knowing who I truly am, and fully expressing that, fully living that. And that process and that journey of being happier and happier and peeling those barriers and is possible no matter where you are. In fact, it has very little to do with where you are. And in some ways, it may work to your advantage if you're really on this journey when that you are faced with challenging situations. Um, like we spoke about Dr. Vijay Singhania the other day, that perhaps if he had not faced the kinds of challenges that he faced because of what happened in his life, the the opportunity to peel more layers and to experience life fully may never have happened. So bottom line is that the inner conversation, the inner journey, the inner experience is much more important. And you know this from everyday experience also. Let us say you are at this beautiful five-star wedding with the most beautiful clothes and the most beautiful jewelry and the most beautiful food and, happiness, music, fragrance, opulence, abundance all around. And you happen to not be in a good mood for whatever reason, then what good does all of that do for you? All of
Sanjiv
that,
Ji,
yeah,
I'll just share a very like recent example,
yeah,
if you allow me.
sure, sure.
I and my
If you
husband.
can turn on your video if you don't mind.
Yes, for a while. So
Yeah,
Sanjeev ji, I and my husband, we worked so hard and got this amazing looking house with all the facility, which with our friends telling, "Wow, you are so lucky."
right.
And when I entered this house, I realized that no matter where I go, my challenges are same. Oh my God! When I came here, I was like, I will be in heaven, but my challenges are same.
Same. Exactly.
Then what the hell? Why did I work so hard?
Right, exactly. 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 It's still you. It's
Yeah,
still you.
exactly.
Yeah, right. And then what after that?
I realized that only what matter is the divine. Knowing myself and nothing else in this world is much more enjoyable or joyful than knowing yourself.
Absolutely. 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 Yep, yep, yep. Exactly. Exactly. Right, right. So, and that exactly this that you realized exactly that your inner world does not change
Yeah,
as you expected. You think that by changing and modifying whatever is going on outside, something is going to happen inside, and it doesn't.
not even
Uh,
1%.
not even 1%, maybe for 2 minutes. When
Yeah,
you first entered the house and you
yeah,
la that the first day, the first 3 days when you're unpacking, wow, look at this place, look at the surroundings.
yeah.
So it lasts for a few days because your mind is
For me,
thinks it
it
as
didn't last even for a few days.
it even lasts for a few days. Yeah, it lasts for a few minutes or few hours,
Yeah,
and then you suddenly realize hey, wait a minute, I'm still who I am, and my challenges and my journey is still what it is,
yeah.
and that my true enjoyment of life and true enjoyment of happens depending on whatever is going on inside of me, not the outside. Wonderful. Yeah. So this experience is what establishes it for us, is makes it more and more clear to us that I don't know why recording. Uh, so yeah. So that that realization, and a first hand realization, you think that whatever the next thing is going to now make me happy, and you go for it, go for it, and then it finally shows up, and pretty soon you realize, wait a second, what happened? I'm still where I am. And then you find, oh, maybe that other thing, maybe even bigger house, maybe a bungalow instead of an apartment, and maybe 10 bungalows, maybe another villa in Paris and another one in Barcelona, and maybe then I'll be happy. And we keep going for that, and the people who are very successful actually get to experience that firsthand, because they actually get to get that villa in Barcelona, and a a chalet in France or in the south of France or whatever. And then, wait a second, it wasn't that big a deal, because in the face of infinite joy, infinite happiness, infinite love, infinite truth, infinite beauty, all of this pales in comparison. It pales in comparison. And to to balance out this thought, the understanding is not that we need to somehow impoverish ourselves or live in some kind of squalid conditions, or not be comfortable, or give up whatever comforts that are present. It's not about that, but knowing that this is not where it is. It's fine. It's fine to have a beautiful house. It's fine. It's not something we have to reject or throw away either. So that's the flip side. So some people go that route and then fall off the edge, fall off the cliff, and give up everything, and not only that, give up life itself. They are so desperate and so disillusioned that they are willing to just give it all up. But that's again falling off the cliff on the other side. And a very understanding and a clear is that yes, it is not what my source of happiness is. My happiness is not the it does not come from having a big house or a big or a fast car or whatever. um, but certainly I can come from happiness. I can come from happiness to a beautiful house. I can come from happiness to a fast car. I can come from happiness to wherever I am, to whatever is in front of me. So it's not about rejecting that as a destination, but using that as a source or as a starting point. So so having having the people, the circumstances, and the things in our life as a platform or as a source for expressing joy rather than something that is somehow going to make us happy when we get them. That's the whole flip that can happen. And Sonal wrote something, let me see. uh yeah, whatever you don't have, we feel when we have it we'll be happy, but actually we need to accept the reality, and that's what makes us happy. Exactly, exactly. Beautiful. I'm looking forward to the day when any of you can conduct this open door session. I can just sit back and listen to all of you. That's what the goal of this whole journey is, that is that we create more and more people. We create more and more people who have this deeply ingrained and deeply understood and deeply established um, sense of what is real, sense of what is important in life, a sense of what really makes us happy, and knowing this, we automatically will create the kind of world that we all want. If we are not desperately searching for happiness in the next whatever that is, then we will not be willing to sacrifice what we know to be true. um, we will not be willing to sacrifice the planet and the climate and so many principles that we hold dear, actually all of us. But we think that, oh, if I get that, then I will be happy. So all right, forget about the environment, let me go for this. But when we start coming from that, hey, this is not how it's set up, then we can actually start building and creating the world that we all want to have. And the same thing applies to tennis. So it's one of the things very clearly in a lot of these books is understand that winning and losing in your hands. I mean, this is life from the winning or losing is not in your hands. All when it comes to tennis is, how can winning or losing be in my hands? I can only play my best. Now, if if the other player actually plays better than my best, obviously that player is going to win. And if my best is better than his best, then obviously I'm going to win. It was never in my hand, winning or losing. So, so one of the first principles is drop this idea of wanting to win, because you can't. You can never win. You can only do your best. And and this is straight from from all the great books. Yeah, the result is not in your hands. Um, right. So that was the first thing they said in that book. Drop this idea of winning. And I'm like, okay, I've heard this before. So, but it was refreshing to see it in a book of tennis. And so that was the one thing that I started to apply. And not that I've not heard this before, and not that I have not thought about it before or knew it before, but somehow having this perspective, or this explain this clearly, that really, what can you do? You and I as an individual can only do our best. How can we win? We can't win. It's just not, I mean, it doesn't make sense. Winning happens, losing happens. You cannot lose or win. You can either do your best or your worst, but you can't win or lose. That depends on so many million other things, like how that person plays, how the, the climate is, what's bothering you, how your body is, so many things. So so anyway, that was one thing. Then the other thing they all said is they talk about the conscious mind and the other than conscious mind. So the conscious mind is the one that is thinking, the one that is creating concepts and ideas and planning and strategizing and doing all that, logic, calculating. That is the conscious mind, the one that's speaking, the one that's thinking. um, or the one that's taking all these inputs of the senses and processing it. That's the conscious mind. And then there is the other than conscious mind, which which is just there, which is the true us, the true you, which is not changing. The conscious mind keeps changing, right? Our thoughts keep changing, our reactions, our inputs, our processing, everything is changing moment to moment. But the other than conscious mind, which is the experiencer of all that is happening, is not changing. And that one, which is not changing, is the only one that really knows how to play tennis. The conscious mind has no clue how to play tennis. And by extension, that conscious mind has no clue about how to play this game of life either. Okay, so, and why do I say that? And it's very obvious if you think about it a little bit, which is that even the simplest of shot in tennis requires an unbelievable amount of physics if you want to really logically figure it out. One shot coming towards me, and if I want to really know consciously what how to hit that ball back, I would have to perform I don't know, hundreds of calculations in a matter of milliseconds. What is the weight of the ball? What is the direction of the ball? What is the speed of the ball? How much is the ball spinning? Where is it going to land? How high is it going to bounce after it lands? Um, where do I want to put that ball back? What angle should my racket be when it hits it? What is the tension on the strings of my racket? How much force do I need to hit it with? What is the angle of my racket? When should I start my preparation? When should I make contact? Where should I make contact with the ball? In front of me, towards me, way ahead in front, to the side? What should be my body position when I do that? All that matters about to know how to hit that ball back. And there is absolutely no way that this conscious mind can do it in the time available. And I think even if you had a lot more time, the conscious mind would not be able to do it without the help of maybe a computer and a whole program and all that. So the conscious mind doesn't know how to play tennis. It's and yet most of the time we are trying to use the conscious mind to play tennis. And we are trying to use the conscious mind to play the game of life. So that rather than life simply happening, um, yeah, rather than life simply happening, we think we can make things happen. We have no clue how to do that. So the second instruction, about after the forgetting about winning, the second instruction uh, is to allow the other than conscious mind to play tennis, and you, the conscious mind, just get out of the way. the body the body and the not conscious mind already knows how to play. The body has muscle memory, and the not conscious mind, really, which is, give it whatever name you want, the divine, it is God herself that gets out there, because only that infinite mind can possibly know how to do this whole thing in a matter of milliseconds. So all you need, so instead of trying to say, oh, I'm going to hit that ball over there, and then when it comes back, I'm going to hit it here, and the conscious mind saying, oh, why did I make that mistake the last point, and oh, this point I'm not going to make the mistake, and the conscious mind is busy doing all this, and simply all it does is get in the way of the unconscious or the other than conscious mind um doing its thing. And then what happens is, rather than just letting it flow, letting the other than conscious mind just do it, come in the way, and the ball either gets hit with too much force outside the court, or it goes into the net and you lose the point. So so how do you keep the conscious mind sort of in fact, but there is a role. The conscious mind does have a role to play. It's not that it is completely useless. The conscious mind is the one that's collecting all the input, right? It's looking at the ball. It knows where the ball is. It's the one that is getting the visual cue of the ball and processing it, and knows where the ball is at any given time. Well, if you're paying attention, if the mind is paying attention, and it is the one which is hearing the sound. It knows how hard it was hit, and all of that. And it is the one that's giving the body input about where you are in the court, how far from the sidelines, how far, all that stuff, the input, the sound, the visual, and the tactile, how hard you are holding your racket, and how relaxed your muscles are. All that input is going in, and that's what the other than conscious mind is using as input to know. It's not figure out, it's to know what to do with that ball that's coming at you. So so why not allow the conscious mind to do what it is good at, which is take all this input. So the whole instruction is really just focus on the ball. Exactly where is the ball, all the way from your racket in the air till it lands, till it hits the other person's racket, and from that racket all the way back, the bounce and coming back. Just keep your eyes completely and all the time on the ball. And the trick that they gave us to how to keep your mind on the ball is to keep watching the spin of the ball. The ball is always spinning. It's not stationary like this. So it's always spinning. It's always going round and round in some direction, this way, that way, whatever. So the instruction is to focus on the spin. Keep a tab on what is the spin of the ball all the time. Which way is it spinning? Which way is it spinning? Which way is it spinning? Make the conscious mind totally busy and engaged and engrossed in watching the spin of the ball. And that's what allows and gives space to the other than conscious mind to simply execute and do whatever it needs to do to keep the game and to do your best. The other thing the mind is good at is, of course, is getting out of the way of being relaxed. The body wants to be relaxed. The body wants to be loose. The body wants to hold the racket very lightly, not grip it like some, like a vice, but very loosely and very relaxed grip. And that relaxed grip also is something that if the conscious mind gets in the way, oh, I better hit this shot well. I better hit this shot really hard because I can't afford to lose this point. This point is very important. I got to do this. And before you know it, you're gripping the racket at twice the force that you need to really hold it because the mind is now all charged up. Ah, God, now I'm going to hit this so hard. Forget it. It's going to be a super shot. But that's what happens at the end when the conscious mind thinks that you grip the racket very hard, and all sorts of errors start piling up. And the more the errors start piling up, the more the conscious mind gets in the way, not only regretting the last point, then, and this has happened to me over and over, so I'm speaking from first hand experience. Not only regretting the last point, but starting to question your ability more and more. Maybe I just don't have the skill, I just don't have the talent. And then it gets worse. So from questioning the talent, you start literally getting angry at yourself, angry at your body, angry at your, why am I not able to do this, why can't I get it right, and more anger and more tense, and it's a downward spiral. And before you know it, you've played the worst game of your life and the game is over. So getting the mind busy looking at the ball, getting the mind focused on breathing. Now here again, breathing comes into the picture. The same thing, the same element that we bring into meditation suddenly shows up in tennis. And they're talking about how having a relaxed breath is so important. And they say put the mind on the breath, let the mind focus on the ball, let the mind focus on the breath, let the mind focus on a relaxed body, which are three things which the conscious mind is good at doing instead of doing all the other garbage. So the opening statement starts with the Bhagavad Gita. Winning or losing is not in your hand, result is not in your hand, and then goes on into meditation, goes on into the first step of meditation. We always start with bring yourself to the breath, bring your mind to the breath, focus on the breath. And as we focus on the breath, the body also relaxes, and then now the other than conscious mind has a chance to step in and do what is needed. So the same thing in life. Don't worry about losing or winning. Just do your best. Give your best. Give your best, which is all you can do. Get the conscious mind out of the way. Focus on whatever is happening. Just be aware of it, not judging it, not pushing it away, not negating it, not resisting it, but simply watching it, becoming a witness of whatever is happening in life. Third element, watching your breath, watching your body, being relaxed. And then this is just the process of bringing that to this. How do we bring that to this? Is by getting out of the way. That is always there, that is always available, that is always present, that is always the source. And how we bring that to this is by simply getting out of the way. And how we get out of the way is stopping resisting, is focusing on what is, instead of questioning it, instead of judging it, instead of labeling it, simply being with what is, being completely engaged with what is. So yeah, the result of all this, in a matter of days, I uh, I started playing a lot better than I've ever played. It's called being in the zone. You know how sometimes you're in the zone, and this happens not just in tennis, but in painting, music, cooking, whatever. You're in the zone, and in that zone, magic and miracles happen. Um, so living life in the zone, living life in the zone is what it's about. And the lessons can, and this is the other interesting thing, that when you're open to this understanding, open to this knowledge, It shows up everywhere. I don't know if you have ever noticed that if you, let's say you buy a red car, there's some noise. If you can be on mute, and Jennifer G, yeah. So if you buy a red car, have you noticed, let's say you see one or two red cars on the road and that looks good. You see one red car and then you say, yeah, it's a nice color. It's not very common also. Okay, let me get a red car. And you get a red car. Have you noticed that the moment you get the red car, you see so many red cars on the road? You see, अरे ये इधर भी है, इधर भी है, इधर भी है. Yes, it's happened, right? Yeah. Yes. So what is that? How did that happen? Do you think suddenly that you bought a red car, everyone went out and bought a red car? No. But where you are coming from, now your awareness around the area of red cars has suddenly become much, much more heightened. And because your awareness is now heightened, you start observing, creating, and in a way, creating more red cars in the world. So what I was saying is that since we are on this topic of understanding reality, understanding oneness, understanding the truth, understanding beauty, living from that rather than from this, that's the only reason it showed up in the form of tennis. It's like the red car. I mean, if my awareness and my attention is on awareness and consciousness, then even if I go to play tennis, I will end up finding consciousness, encountering awareness. so it kind of established that again for me, that how what you are is what you find, and it works in both directions. um in you know in a, and there's nothing negative or positive, but a direction towards happiness and away from happiness. If you find that, let's say, um, taking alcohol or drinking a lot is giving you pleasure, or is something you're getting into, you'll suddenly find a lot of other people who are doing the same thing, and you'll gravitate towards that, and more of that will show up. It's just how it works. So it works in either direction. So the point is to take this lesson of from tennis. Unfortunately, I overdid it because I was enjoying the game so much that instead of playing for an hour, I started playing for an hour and a half. And yesterday I played for 2 hours straight. And now my knee is hurting and telling me that, what the hell are you doing, man? And yeah, so I think if I can hold myself back, I want to stay away from tennis for 2 or 3 days. But knowing me, I'll find a reason to go. I'll say, oh, I'll just play a little bit. I won't play as hard. I'll play just 1 or 2, 40 minutes, 40 minutes. That's what I did today. I said, I won't play like I did crazy for 2 hours yesterday. I'll just play a little bit. And I went. And and uh, and I played, but I mean, I didn't play 2 hours. I was able, I had decided I will only play 40 minutes. I ended up playing about 80, I think. But at least I didn't play for 120. And same thing is going to happen tomorrow. But ideally, I should just rest for 3 or 4 days and allow the knee to heal. Ah, great. So that's the saga about tennis. So anything anyone wants to say or ask in this area about this?
This is one small confusion.
Yeah, sure.
So previously, when you would say who's seeing with the eyes? It's the experience. Who's hearing this? It's the experience.
It's the
The
experiencer.
sure, I said that
Oh, I heard experience. Okay.
experience.
Experiencer.
I've said that only. Come on.
The sir is dropping from Zoom.
Because Zoom, yeah, okay. And so what we are saying is that the experiencer is experiencing everything, but the real technical eyes and your eyes and or whatever other the sound and all other things are being absorbed by the technical eyes, the inputs.
Processed.
The process is being the inputs have
Processed.
been, yeah, are
Are
being
being
taken in
processed.
and sending it to your brain, but everything is being experienced by the experiencer. Is
Correct.
that what you were saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not only everything is experienced by the experiencer, all all subsequent action, every the knowledge of what to do, how to be, that knowledge also lies only with the source of all knowledge. And and that experiencer is the one who knows how to play the game of life, how to play the game of tennis. Um, so, um, so yeah, it's about getting out of the way so that that experiencer can play this game of life, which is the easiest way to bring that to this. See, bringing that to this is also not something your conscious mind can do. It's all it can do is get out of the way, and then that is always present. So the eye meditation, the insta meditation that we talk about, is asking ourselves the question, how do I bring that to this? uh, Not how do I bring, it's actually how to bring, because it's not I that brings, it's how to bring that to this. And that is why I'd say don't give an answer to it, because the answer will only come from the conscious mind. Oh, I should be sweeter, I should be nicer, I should be funnier, I should be calmer, or whatever. And that doesn't work. That's just your conscious mind giving you one more thought. What works is the you, the inner you, the loving you, the truthful you, the beautiful you, the magnificent you shining. And bringing that shine and that light to the situation is what works. Works in the sense brings joy. So,
Also, there's one more element to this, is it not, Sanjivji? Is he there?
He's there.
hello, hello, hello.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there he is.
yeah. So Sanjivji
No,
is.
so one sec. So even in this situation, it's not about what to do to bring that to this. It's not that we don't know what to do. The small I does not know what to do to bring that to this either. All it can do is get out of the way. And how we get out of the way is by simply allowing, by simply being in the here and now, not resisting, not pushing away, not uh, but simply accepting all experience that shows up and allowing it to simply flow to that experiencer, and allowing that experiencer to respond in whatever way it chooses to respond. Yeah, go ahead. What are you saying?
There's also one more element in this, is it not? That we should have no attachment. No attachment, right? No attachment to winning, so you keep your small eye away. No attachment to keep on playing, otherwise the knee gets bad. Are you there?
Are you there? Can you hear me?
We are asking you, are you there? Your frame
Are
has
you there?
frozen.
Yeah, yeah. Are you there? Are you there? That's yeah. So people are going to get confused. Are you talking about internet, or are you talking about a super conscious, existential, non-duality Advaita question called "Are you there?" Which one is it? Well, use it for whatever we want, whatever applies. So, um, yeah, all the only small way in which I would modify what you said is it's not a should. It's not that we should not be attached. It's just that knowing that by it is anyway not in our hands. So where is the question of being attached?
Yeah,
Where's the question of being attached to? So allowing the thought about winning or this craving for winning to simply fall away rather than dropping it, rather than saying, oh, I should not do that, so I will not worry about me. So it's not that, it's allowing the understanding to get absorbed to such an extent that the the attachment to winning drops away on its own, um, because it becomes so foolish, it becomes childish to be attached to, because oh, I can't win anyway. I don't win and I can't win. So it doesn't make sense to be attached to winning. And that's a much more powerful way of releasing ourselves from that attachment to winning than telling ourselves, oh, I should not be attached. Okay, so just that small modification in what you said. But yeah, the idea is essentially correct. Sonal is asking, sir, that and this, how to explain to new people. Can we explain in any small video to explain that and this can help them? Sure. That's all. Sonal, this is all I've been doing for for 1.5 years, explaining the difference between that and this. What is that and what is this? That's all I've been doing. But yeah, we can, and also I've been making it shorter and shorter and shorter, and more and more and more. A shortcut. You still want another shortcut. It reminds me of that story, that one king goes to a Zen master and he says, I have heard you are a very wise person, and that is why I've come to you. But I'm a king and I have a million things to do and I'm very busy. So whatever you want to say, just tell me in one paragraph, so I can just get it and I can go. I don't have a time for a whole lecture, and if you tell me to come for a whole retreat and for all this kind of stuff, I don't have time. No, I'm just okay. For new people also, yeah. So you already know, yeah, that's good. So for new people to explain also, it is important to have this small understanding. But anyway, this is so uh, so he says, just tell me in one paragraph, what is it, all this stuff that you're talking about, meditation and this and that, just explain in one paragraph. So he said, so the Zen master says, forget about one paragraph, I will tell you in one word. And the king is very excited. Oh, one word, tell me what is that word about meditation, how to meditate. So he says, silence. That's all. He says silence. That's the one word. If I have to put the whole essence of my teaching in one word and to meditate, all it is silence. So then king thinks for a minute and he says, okay, very good, very good. But how to be silent? And so he says, the master says, meditate. So how to meditate? Silence. How to be silent? Meditate. So this was the shortest shortcut. The shortest shortcut is, of course, silence. If somebody the shortest answer is you can't say anything about this or that. That is the shortest answer. It is not something you can say or explain anyway. But if at all we have to, because we are part of this river called life, then then that is the background of experience, of existence. The background of all experience is that, and this is the foreground of experience. And how to bring that to this is simply how to make the background of experience, which is silence, which is truth, which is love, which is acceptance, which is beauty. Sat Chit Anand is the background of all that there is in the whole universe. That is the background. All this, that, whatever is happening, this life, this speaking, me, you, these words, this sound, this sight, this computer, all that is the foreground, is the front ground. Um Prush, yeah, we had found the translation also. Agrabhumi or Prushthabhumi. Prushta is background, Agrabhumi is foreground. I happened to see the video that we had made on the 27th of November last year. Today, I just saw that video of Open Door. And we talked about this exact same thing, foreground and background. And from that video, I remembered the two words, Agrabhumi or Prushthabhumi. So, or Agrabhumi is this. All this that is happening is Agrabhumi, the foreground. And the process of bringing the qualities of the background into the foreground more and more and more is all Insta meditation is. And Insta meditation too is that even when you're looking at this foreground, seeing the background through the foreground, like seeing the canvas through the painting, seeing the screen through the movie, is that second meditation, how to see that in this. So if that is short enough, then this is that video. We'll clip it in this part and put it out there for all new people to understand. Great. Anamika had a question which I promised to take up, but I think she has maybe dropped off. Okay, so we'll take. So her question was that there is no, in a sense, there is no past and there is no future. The past and future do not exist, and so then if that is true, that there is only the now, there is only the eternal now, there is only the eternal now, then what is all this about karma and regrets and cleaning the karma and cleansing the karma and liberating and freeing from this past actions which we supposedly did in some past life? So past doesn't exist. So what is karma if past doesn't exist? Because if past doesn't exist, then karma doesn't mean anything. So that's our question. And so we'll take that up on Tuesday. Think about it in the meantime. How, given that there is only the now, ultimately there is no past, there is no future, all there is now. At a level of experience, all we experience is now, 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 now. Nobody has ever experienced a past. You cannot experience a past, you can only experience now. And nobody has ever experienced a future. So, given that our yardstick for truth is experience, we say that the past and the future actually do not exist because we do not experience it. So, then given that, what is karma and what is cleaning of karma? Okay, so think about it. We'll, or don't think about it, and we'll take it up further in next time we meet. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We will meet on Tuesday. I bow down to the divine, which is present where you are. Hari Om Tat Sat. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you